Hello, I am Miss Amy. This is Oscar, the Maltese dog, and we are going to be talking you through your grade 3 verse and prose theory. Okay, grade 3. Ooh, it's building up now. I think grade 3 is one to get your head around. So you've got the questions that have come before. So if we're backtracking, you've got you're looking at the mood of the verse, the mood of the prose. You've got the content. So what is the verse about? What is the prose about? Now a step up, you've got to talk about two characters. So it could be, your questions might be, why have you chosen those two characters? How do they know each other? Do they get on? Does anything happen between them in the book? Do they say anything about each other? So it can be any question. It's very open. You can be questioned on two characters. So make sure that you know those characters very, very well so that you can answer the questions on them. The next part is the difference between verse and prose. Now, this is quite a tricky question. Verse is a poem. Prose is a book. Just to make that clear, you must know what they are to be able to talk about them. If we think about a book, about a storybook, a book is written and the words flow from the side of the page to the side of the page. So I've got a book here with me. So if we look at this story, the words flow from side to side. A poem doesn't have to do that. A poem can be written in any which way. So for instance, if your poem was about a snake, the writer may write it like that, like a snake. That there is no set way that you have to set it out. But can you imagine if you were reading a book that is that thick and it was set like a snake? It'd take away from you'd find it very hard to read the story. So point one is that the words in prose flow from one side to the other. In a poem, it can be shaped in any which way. Books are grammatically correct. They are written with full stops, commas. Verse doesn't have to be. Verse doesn't have to be grammatically correct. It depends on the writer and what they're trying to get across. Books tend to not use similes and metaphors as much as verse. I think that this is because obviously you could spend an entire page talking about a sunset, but in a poem you might have to get that same imagery across in a couple of words or a line. So writers tend to use similes and metaphors to get the point across of what it is that they're trying to do in less words. Rhythm. Everything has rhythm. The way I'm talking now has a rhythm, but rhythm can be stronger in verse more so than books. So for instance, if you look at the ning nang nong, on the ning nang nong where the cows go bong and the monkeys all say boo, there's a nong nang ning where the trees go ping and the teapots jibber jabber joo. There's a very strong rhythm there, but you wouldn't tend to get that sort of a rhythm in a book, again, because it'd take away from the story. So you can get a strong rhythm. Rhyming. Verse can rhyme. It doesn't all rhyme, but it can use rhyme, whereas prose is less likely to use rhyme. So there are a couple of the main differences between verse and prose, and that's the sort of thing that the examiner is looking for you to be able to talk about fluently. So they won't tend to help you. They'll just say, okay, Maria, what is the difference between verse and prose? And you will be expected to basically do a little presentation, sat down, talking about the differences just as I've spoken them now. But as long as you watch this video a couple of times and write it down, guys, you will be A-okay. Well done.